Liverpool out to clinch title. Well, I guess that means we're back. Hello everyone and welcome back to more Careering Onwards with me, Mr. Grant 2, still with Liverpool. We're trapped here, we're trapped on Merseyside, but to be honest, they keep giving me trophies for stuff, so I'm not going to really complain too much. But yes, it's April the 27th, 2030, and we are on the cusp of winning the Premier League title for the third year running, and if we can do it, it'll be against the team who we won the first one against 2 years ago. And if we can do it, it will be at the Eddie Howe Park, the newly christened Eddie Howe Park, built last year. Bournemouth normally move stadiums quite quickly. It's taken them a while, and well, good to see them paying tribute to undoubtedly the biggest Bournemouth legend there will ever be. You still sacked him though, didn't you? What's Eddie doing now? He's unemployed. He's been unemployed for 4 years since being sacked by QPR. I mean, do you want to join the coaching team, Eddie? He does. He's happy to join. We'll get him in. Under 18s, but we have any vacancies? We don't really. I mean, he wants to be under 18s manager. That's Steven Gerrard. I'm just going to shortlist him for future. Anyway, we are back, and as you can see, we are still top of the Premier League. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be back now because we wouldn't be about to win the league. But we are 7 points clear of Chelsea, who've played a game more than us, which means, if my maths is correct, if we win our game today against Bournemouth, we will be champions again. Their recent form has seen them drop some points, drawing with Arsenal most recently, drawing with Blackburn and losing to us, which was a relatively decisive game. So it's looking pretty good. If it's not today, then there's still a few more chances, but hopefully we can wrap things up today. But they're the only team that can now stop us. Man United cannot, Tottenham cannot. They will likely make up the Champions League spaces, with City presumably missing out again. Ben Watson's still in charge under all kinds of pressure, and the rest of the league is kind of shaken out as you would expect, apart from Blackburn, who are continuing to do very well and are looking good to get 7th place. They might even pip Arsenal to 6th, which would be pretty impressive. Reading have got more points than they did 2 years ago, but they are still going to be relegated this time and likely bottom of the league as well. So what has happened since last time we met with the League Cup final? Well, it's been eventful again. I keep fielding weakened teams in the cup competitions, and we just keep winning because our players are very, very good. We went through in the FA Cup 5th round, beating Southampton 3-1. We crushed Everton again in the league 3-1 as well. Salvador getting a hat-trick. We beat Borussia Dortmund 4-1 in the second leg to go through 6-1 on aggregate. Then, I mean, a blip. The biggest blip we've had in the past 2 seasons, really. We drew 0-0 with Spurs, and then we lost 2-1 to Newcastle. A fiery affair, 3 red cards, including Trent Alexander-Arnold, but they held out to get all 3 points. If that's a blip, then, well, I can't really argue. Since then, we've bounced back and won every single match. We won the FA Cup quarter-final against Leeds United 1-0. We then crushed them in the league 5-0, and then wins against West Ham, the crucial game against Chelsea, 2-0 win against their Vujovic with the goals, and then Fulham, most recently of all in the league, have put us in that strong position. And then the Champions League quarter-final, we played Porto. The first leg we won 3-2, they got 2 goals, but we still managed to get the win, still managed to get 3 away goals, and then just to humiliate them even more, we crushed them 7-0 in the second leg, Marko Sinček scoring 5 in that one. So, yeah, pretty dominant, destructive thing. Similar situation, really, with the FA Cup semi-final. Not quite as dramatic, but getting some revenge against Newcastle for the league defeat. Rayan Cherki scoring 2, Pedro scoring 1. We're into the FA Cup final once again, and we will be playing Chelsea in that one. So that's going to be probably next time, depending on what happens today. We have also got to play Barcelona in the Champions League semi-finals. Now, those are interesting because the other semi-final contains Bayern Munich. So the 2 jobs that I would most like to go to, that are probably most under threat, given the league position of both sides, could be determined by what happens in the rest of the Champions League. Hopefully we beat Barcelona and Man United beat Bayern Munich, and then, unless miracles happen, both Jurgen Klopp and Alfaro will be sacked, and then we can hopefully get one of them. Of course, no guarantees. Yeah, I mean, Schalke is still well cleared. Bayern Munich are not going to win the Bundesliga. It's very close for second, but they are not winning the league this year, and it's going to have to be the Champions League, like it did once for us, that will save Jurgen Klopp's job. La Liga, you'd think would go similarly, although Barcelona, they can still theoretically win the league. The chances of them catching Real Madrid are very unlikely, but they can still physically do it. But again, if they fail to win the Champions League, you would think that that would be enough. They have not won the league for going to be 5 years. That's, for Barcelona, that's not good enough, is it? Right, we are one game away from 3 league titles in a row. Not quite as good as Manchester City's 7 in a row, but I will take it. The form is good. Fitness and injuries is an issue. We've not mentioned that one. Gedson Fernandes is out for the rest of the season with a broken foot. Obviously, he's not a starter, but he's a very useful squad player to have, and disappointing to lose. We have had a few other injuries recently. Julien Lefebvre has been out for a while. He's just back now, and Colin Nicholson also back after being out for a couple of weeks, which does mean that in terms of the starting lineup, we are going to be as full strength as we would like. Really, it's exactly the lineup that I would normally go for, which means Marcus Dewhurst is going to be in goal, Ulrich, Foucher and Lefebvre, and Alexander Arnold the defence. He's back from suspension. De Jong, Salvador and Paqueta the midfield. Vujovic on the right hand side, Richard on the left, and Colin Nicholson up front. It's a team we know, it's a team of absolute heroes. They have won a crazy amount of stuff in the save, even the ones that we haven't had since the very beginning, but players that have been here since the very start of the save. That's really only Trent, isn't it? But since we've been here, the likes of Foucher, the likes of Salvador, De Jong, Paqueta, the amount of trophies they've picked up in a relatively short space of time is pretty ridiculous. But Bournemouth are today's opponents, of course, no longer with Eddie Howe in charge, as we've seen, but some familiar real-life faces still there. Chris Mepham still there, Lewis Cook still there. They've got Farnaz in goal for them, Scott McKenna as well, and Jamal Lewis, of course, long-serving Liverpool player throughout this one. Now, Kieran Tal up front he's very good. I nearly signed him at one point. Indeed, when he was transfer listed by Spurs for 9 million, I nearly signed him. I think it was when we signed Colin Nicholson, or maybe it was Sinchek. I went for Sinchek, and he went to Bournemouth instead. And yeah, he's a really, really good player. They've got a very good striker there. Part of the reason why they've done so well recently. Salami, formerly of PSG, I remember facing him in the Club World Cup final. Yeah, he had a pretty good spell in Paris. Not amazing. He went to Borussia Dortmund, did nothing, and then has gone to Bournemouth and done a bit more. First time playing at the Eddie Howe Park, so it's gonna be tough. They're gonna be, I don't know how big was it? It was like 25,000 or something, wasn't it? So it's gonna be an atmosphere for us. The first highlight comes in, Lee Kangin playing the ball in, and we're a bit fast here. I've been playing on a faster speed because I wanted just to get through some matches a bit quicker in the meantime. But there we go. Richard picks the ball up. Can he get a goal? He goes inside. It's cleared off the line, but it was not actually near the goal. One of those weird decisions that real players don't normally make. Anyway, De Jong on the ball, plays it forward to Vujovic, looking for him to get involved in the action. Everyone has been just so full of goals recently. The amount we've been scoring this season, didn't really highlight it on the table, but our goal difference is, we'll look at it in a minute, insanely better than Chelsea. It's really quite absurd. Richard puts the ball across. Vujovic does not find the target, but our goal difference is 81, whereas Chelsea's is 38. Man United is 50. We have scored so many goals and not conceded. It is that many goals. It's really fantastic. Anyway, Lewis heads down. It's come to Alexander Arnold, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, the academy graduate who has played every single game of professional football in his life for Liverpool and England, but for a club perspective, only Liverpool. And he has been absolutely fantastic this season. We mentioned it last time. It has been undoubtedly his best season since I've been here. He's always been good, but he did have a few sort of dips. He wasn't particularly great a couple of years ago, but this year, as Richard makes it 2-0, and it's looking very good. This year Trent's been absolutely sensational. It's definitely been his best season for us. De Jong gliding forwards, finds Salvador, and there is Jordan Richard. Lovely take. Literally just skips past Mepham like he's not there, and 2-0. Corner comes in from Richard. Vujovic flicks it in, and I mentioned we were good. We are. It's quite terrifying, and I don't think. The thing is, the AI does have the capacity to destroy things. So if we do leave in the summer, which will hopefully be able to happen, then the Paqueta makes it 4. I think he's offside. Someone's off. Vujovic is offside. Then the capacity of the AI to destroy teams is impressive. They will almost certainly sell at least one of Nicholson and Vujovic. Vouchers wanted as well. It will probably happen. So the team will be broken up, and potentially will no longer be the dominant force in English and world football. But as Fulham are not done yet, Tal with a weak effort in the end, which Dewhurst claims. At the moment, the team we have is pretty sensational. And of course, if we were to stay, we have to plan with the contingency. I'm not going to spend a day unemployed if I can avoid it. Then potentially players like De Jong and Bentancur, they're in their 30s. Paqueta as well. They'll need to be looked at as having long-term replacements eventually. But the thing is, the AI is very good at just getting rid of players in their 30s. I know it's kind of like the thing, that's what you do, but it's not. I mean, maybe if you're fully interested in making as much money as possible, then you do. But really, if you just want to win stuff, then keep your good players really until they're not good anymore. Anyway, with 3-0 up, we're completely coasting. Bournemouth have had a couple of chances, as you've seen, which have been pretty weak efforts, and we are going to win the Premier League again. Obviously not unbeaten this time, but 3 Premier Leagues in a row is pretty nuts. Right, we won't risk any injuries. We'll put the tempo down, and then we're going to start making some subs. Vujovic needs to come off because he's always tired, and I think we will take off. We're going to take off Trent as well because he does love getting injured, and same Richard too, off for Chucky. And then what we're going to do, because I've actually remembered this time, we're going to go to director cam. There we are. We'll have to slow it down even more. But we're going to go to director cam for the final few moments of the game, so we can actually remember to see the trophy celebration. I mean, we might do this if we make the Champions League final. Maybe we'll play the whole game in this because I'd prefer 2D Classic, but this is it's good to use occasionally. Even if my graphics processing capability isn't too amazing. Vignato's on the ball, across to Moraldi. Can we make it 4? Moraldi looking to put a ball in. He does. It's cleared well by Jamal Lewis, but only as far as De Jong. Paqueta whips a shot in over the bar. Jamal Lewis with a throw in for Bournemouth. McKenna playing it around together. They're looking for a consolation. It would be a massive collapse if we threw away a 3-goal lead with just over 5 minutes of normal time remaining. Would be quite poor. I think we'll be all right. Palmer on the right hand side, ball in to Lewis, goes for the shot. Dewhurst with a pretty acrobatic save to tip it over for a corner. 2 minutes of normal time remaining. Varanez playing out a short goal kick, and we're looking to press the Bournemouth back line. They're in here. I mean, since we've gone to 3D, we've done nothing. Tal's in, goes for a pretty wild shot. And I think that is going to be that. No more highlights. No more highlights. And there we go. We have won the Premier League trophy for the 3rd season running. I mean, when you compare them, obviously last year was the drama of going unbeaten. That was the constant tension. The first year, just the drama of how long, the 2 years without winning it and then winning it was interesting. This has definitely been our easiest, or at least I guess most relaxed win. 3 games left. Chelsea did put up a very good fight, but we were pretty much top for the entire season. It wasn't like last year with Man United sort of being really, really close. And then the year before, of course, with Man City, where they were, it was a bit of chopping and changing, but we was never really in doubt this year. And yeah, 3 Premier Leagues in a row. That's up there with Manchester United, and of course the absurd Marcelo Bielsa fictional existence in the game here with Man City. So there we go, 3 in a row. I mean, you absolutely love to see it. Kenny Dalglish has said I'm an outstanding manager. Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, great. I mean, let's just check that, because I think we're still in favoured personnel. We are. I mean, I'm not saying I'm on the level of Shankly and Paisley and even Dalglish, but I mean, that's 15 trophies. I've won 3 Premier Leagues, I've won 2 Champions Leagues, I've won 3 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 2 Super Cups, 3 Community Shields. I mean, where's my statue, really? Come on, where's my statue? I love how whenever you win a trophy in the press conference, they're always like, oh, can you go on, are you capable of going on and becoming a real force or whatever? We've won 15 trophies in 4 years. I think we already are the real force. We already are. Anyway, Jurgen Klopp is finally insecure after a year of complete failure. I'm assuming Schalke have won the league. So he's now insecure now that the Bayern Munich board have finally realised that they can't win the Bundesliga anymore. So he is hanging by a thread, and that thread is the Champions League semi-final against Manchester United. Hopefully they can do us a favour and knock them out, which obviously is in their interest because they want to win the Champions League themselves, don't they? But there we go. Now, I mean, we could do the semi-final against Barcelona, but we've been in a few Champions League semi-finals already. I think that what we will do is we'll come back next time, and when we come back next time, it will either be the FA Cup final against Chelsea on its own, or it will be the FA Cup final against Chelsea and the Champions League final against either Bayern Munich or Manchester United, depending on what happens. I mean, judging by how well we've done this season, who knows? Could we win the quadruple, or it was not septuple. Is that 7? What is 6? I can't remember. Anyway, it could be 6. It could be 6. But you will have to find out what happens next time. I will see you then. Leave a like, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss, potential even more unprecedented glory. I can't really say it's unprecedented at this point. I mean, we've made, kind of by accident, but we've made one of the best teams of all time. Anyway, another Premier League. Thank you. Leave a like for that one, and I will see you next time for potentially even more.